This is the car I wanted to fix with my own hands, like from start to finish. Moreover, this car is such a pain in the neck, it's gonna be a tough challenge for me. And perhaps she's gonna teach me something, we'll see. Check out this web here. This car really upsets me, and soon you'll find out why. I think about her every day and I'm getting frustrated right away. But now's the time to deal with it in a proper way. This is Volkswagen Tiguan, and there's so many of these models out there. Starting from 2010, 2011, they're almost everywhere. And you know what's hilarious? Most of them are broken. If the mileage is between 100,000 miles and 120,000 miles, that's it. The car is done. I bought this one also broken, of course, but her used with two engines. The first one is 100% broken, and the second one is also broken, but it's fixable. So I started fixing it, making 1 out of 2. So first of all, let me tell you about the engine that was in there. It was completely stock. I pulled out the whole engine out of this engine. I threw out everything that was in there. The only thing that I saved was a single piston, and that's it. Everything else was sent into garbage. So I put it back together, rebuilt it, fixed the crankshaft, so this thing was ready to go. Also, I put in all new bearings, put everything together, and started the engine. Yeah, that sounded pathetic. And the problem is not about electronics, timing chain, and other stuff. I'll be happy if that was the case. But here the problem is much more complex. I have no oil in the cylinder head. And it takes really long time for the car to start, and I don't understand why. Here, a lot of issues are piled on top of each other, and as a result, we have this complex problem. So check this out, especially if you have no idea what this car is all about. That's how it starts. That's fantastic. Then we're supposed to be dealing with humidity and insects. Yeah, insects. Holy crap, how many of them are there? Would you believe it? They just lived here. That's the first spot, and that's the second one. Now I'm gonna get to the first possible suspect, which is a balancer shaft. I didn't really like the balancer shaft that was installed in this car, and when I took it off it had a really huge slack. I wasn't happy about that, and the first thing that comes to mind regarding the oil pressure leak is this is probably this very balancer shaft. Original ones are expensive, Chinese parts are cheap, so I didn't really know what to do. Buying used ones is also not the best idea, but I took a risk, bought the Chinese one, and there we go. Looks good. Brand new Chinese balancer shaft. Yeah, this one is no-name brand, but whatever. It's new though. My hands are even sticking to it. Have a look at these little things moving. Anyway, at least I can see it. Alright, after I installed the balancer shafts, I saw the oil running through the channels, so it was okay. So I forcibly cranked the oil pump, oil flows everywhere, it's splashing everywhere at the bottom, but for some reason it's not coming up, meaning the oil doesn't get to the cylinder head. Then, since the oil doesn't go up, I began to worry about the top. So there can be something wrong with the gasket or something wrong with the cylinder head. Is the cylinder head being blown through, since I haven't checked the cylinder head, and this is my fault. I took off the cylinder head, checked the block, checked the head, blew the entire head through, checked the check valve which is in the head, blew through all the valves, all these channels, blew through everything, everything goes everywhere, so nothing is stuck, everything's okay. The gasket, by the way, was made in China, so I decided to change it to an original one. Oh, are you kidding me? It's closed. Closed today. Alright. Hey, check out this brand new model. Must be 2023 Mazda. X90 probably. Okay, the engine's reassembled, all the important sensors are attached. Right now the engine is dry, I haven't started it yet, I got it all put back together. There's no oil yet. Well, still no oil, but it's getting better. That's a success. Yeah, it's a success. Almost. The pressure is still coming out somewhere, but it's better than it was before. Let's pour some water in there. All in all, what do we got so far? I'm 100% sure the cylinder head is fine. I've installed new balancer shafts, new timing chain, the crankshaft is honed, repaired, the conrod bearings are all fine, I've had them measured, and the only thing left in the system is the oil pump channels, and the oil nozzles because there's absolutely nothing else there. I took the oil pump off, spun it with a screwdriver, it pumps pretty good. I compare it to the 3 oil pumps I had in my garage, and it turns out I had plenty of them in my collection. The oil pump I bought was brand new, it was good. The oil channels in the second upper oil pan were good. I was blowing air in there, and what I didn't like is that when I'm blowing air and somewhere from the top it's blowing pretty hard, and that's frustrating, no good at all. It's either the oil nozzles or the crankshaft. And since I'm confident in the crankshaft, it turns out I need to look at the oil nozzles, and in order to check the oil nozzles, I have to take off the second oil pan. So I had to remove the crankshaft, and indeed, there were 2-3 nozzles permanently opened. There's a little screw with a spring on it, and it's supposed to be pressurized, and the nozzle should puff. But in my case, that was stuck. Another fault, I put one rod cap on the connecting rod incorrectly, meaning there's only one possible position to put them in, but this one was so broken that it could be put both ways. The engine is good to go. Let's test it. I've assembled everything already, filled in the oil, rolled this thing, hooked it up. I mean, without spark plugs so far. I don't know if you can see it, can you? Oh, I see, it doesn't work. It did a few minutes ago. Oh, screw it. Now there's no stopping me. It hasn't even started. I just put in the spark plugs, I know that the oil pressure's there, so it's about to start. The question is whether it's gonna be fast or slow. Slow. I got it. Keep going, keep going. Now she's gonna get back into condition. I can watch this forever. Just beautiful. Wonderful. Let him splash the oil out of all the holes in the world. Let it go. The important thing is that the oil is flowing. There's enough pressure. There's just something to splash. That's great. That's awesome. This is a big, big win for now. It's getting warmed up. And then I'm gonna get in and drive off into the sunset. After the oil pressure showed up, all this madness with the car didn't end here, and I obviously didn't go to sell her. No, it was just the beginning, cause the engine is far from being fixed. And there's some issues with starting the engine because the engine is spinning for a really long time. It doesn't see the crankshaft position sensor. However, the crankshaft sensor is fine. I even bought a new one from the dealership. Starting the engine with a new crankshaft position sensor. Yeah, no changes at all. The crank sensor wasn't the case. Also, there is a transmission issue. Sometimes the car drives, sometimes it doesn't. The car was parked overnight and after that it just doesn't drive anymore. I mean, neither forward nor backward. It's dead. I didn't do anything. Check this out, I'm just scanning it. I haven't finished scanning yet. I just turned on the reverse and she's moving. I don't like this kind of thing. That really scares me. I want to be aware why things like these happen. My electric power steering came off, but I guess that's because I was shaking the engine and the transmission around. Something must have come loose. On top of all this, you can see how much it's struggling. Struggling really bad. It's shaking and it's coming from the air anyway. The pulley is squeaking. I'm gonna change it now. Basically, nothing's changed. In fact, it has changed, but not very much. Nothing changes at all, and somewhere it sucks in air. Probably right here. So I removed the subframe, checked the rack. Whoever invented a connector for this rack and pinion should burn in hell. Then I changed the pulley. Here's the important detail. When the crankshaft sensor disconnected, it starts differently. Basically, it sounds quite differently. I mean, something's changing. But except for the steering rack, there's no changes. I gotta figure out what's the case here. Another day I'm struggling with this car. Have a look at this wire that goes to the electric power steering. And I figured out the cause of the EPS failure. I'm a moron. I had a Chinese one, so I was thinking that the problem is in this very fact, that it's made in China. So I got a new one from the dealership, and you know what changed? Nothing. No changes whatsoever. The pulley that I also changed didn't help either, so now I'm gonna put the third pulley on. I'm glad I have another one. Now I'm gonna make the engine smoke a little. See, it's smoking already. And then I suppose everything should become clear, I mean, where it sucks the air. Yeah, oh, this car brought me so much trouble. Okay, I can't even figure out where the smoke is coming from. Where do I need to show you? From this or that side? Well, I guess we should probably start from here. It seemed to be alright, but right here something's leaking, and it's leaking so much. From one of the sensors. And what's this? Well, yeah, it looks like it's a sensor, and why it's leaking is unclear. So, the leakage number 1. Naturally, if you remember, I showed you this cardboard here for a reason. It's leaking out of the same spot. And this is the goddamn Chinese 100-year-old crankshaft seal. Yeah, I'm gonna need to take the transmission off. But this time I already know how to do it, and probably I can finish it within an hour. You know what? I'll even set the timer to take the transmission off. Local time is 6:17 p.m., so let's do this. Clock's ticking. For now, just make sure that it's still pretty, still put together. There we go. Time. 7:05 p.m. At first glance, everything seems fine, everything's okay. Even this particular seal is dry. Dry from all around. But this thing itself is wet inside. The smoke's coming out. Check out the new oil seal. We're done. It's time to check the time. Alright. Since I took this engine from Volkswagen Jetta, and this problem was also relevant for that car, so now I put this engine in here, and by this time it also starts for quite a long time. The wiring with the ECU was completely changed, obviously because the car was changed. Now it has a new sensor, and like I said, the wiring with the ECU was changed. Besides all this, there's only one thing left that can be the case. I mean the crankshaft position sensor disc, which reads. But it's good, I checked it, I looked at it. And what does the common sense tell me? Well, basically I fixed the air leak, maybe the air leak caused this thing anyway. Alright, if it starts fast now, it'll be a miracle. No, unfortunately the miracle didn't happen. What a shame. However, it's working smoother. All the air leak is gone. I'm gonna put the wheels now, and if nothing leaks, and there are no more problems, well, the car should be good to go. Yeah. There's still the issue with the transmission, because I don't like the fact that sometimes it drives and sometimes it doesn't. And there's the issue with the starting of the car. So these are the two main things that should be fixed. Well, and the look of the car, I gotta put some makeup on. Let me show you how crooked she is. Now the red color doesn't prevail anymore? Well, almost. The main thing is that the wheels are facing the green side. And now we just need to check the oil in the transmission, and that's it. And that should be it. That's it. We did it. I just filled a liter of oil in the transmission, I didn't check the level, I think it's good enough. There's even a mold in the gas tank. See how long it's been out of gas. I'm gonna fill it up here for $10. There we go. I managed to cut the start time by 3 or 4 times. Look how fast it's gonna start now. Yeah, you know how I did it? I just removed the crankshaft position sensor from the system. Just removed it. And that's it. It starts much faster. I'm driving 30 miles per hour and I feel like I'm gonna crash. The car is swaying from side to side like this. Something's hitting me, hitting my leg. No good at all. These sort of hits depend on the speed. Something's howling. I have no idea. I don't know if the wheels can act like this. I mean, it feels like the wheels are square. Really weird. Well, it's braking fine. The only light that is on is the EPC, which means check engine because the sensor is disconnected. And if it was even connected, it would be even worse. The steering wheel is steady, it doesn't pull. I just want to forget this ride. Just look what the car can do. After almost a year, she's back. She's back from where I took her from, with extra parts. Look at all this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Box within a box. All the stuff I brought here with this car. Well, that's it for this Volkswagen. It drives fine now. There are only a few little things left to do. The most essential things are done. Thank you guys for watching, like this video, and see you in the next videos.